next topic on the agenda, which is the panel discussion on the challenges for academic institutions in implementing NEP provisions. So maybe in the next 2 minutes, probably we should be able to start by the time folks will settle down. Hope you had a good lunch. Yes. So in the meantime, if I can request the panelists, Dr. Anant, Chakradeo, Pro Vice Chancellor, MIT Arts, Design and Technology University, to please come over to the dais, please. Thank you, sir. Sri Jitendra Patil, Director, Universal College of Engineering. If you can come over. Professor Manoj S. Khaladkar, Training and Placement Officer, Army Institute of Technology. Yes. Thank you so much. Deepa Dixit, Senior Associate Dean, Accreditation, V School, Welingkar Institute of Management Development and Research. Welcome. Then we have Veteran Wing Commander Sudhir Salunkhe, former Dean at iFEEL, Institute for Future Education, Entrepreneurship and Leadership. Thank you, sir. And then from the industry we have Anant, Account Director and Regional Head, Academics and Government LinkedIn. Okay, so we have the full quorum. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Let's begin with opening up the panel with the most sought after and the top of the country, which is the National Education Policy. Right, so NEP 2020, which has been there for quite some time now, it has its own challenges, which probably we will what's being discussed now. So to begin with, if I may have the question put out, maybe you can decide who will take it. What do you think are some of the impending challenges that institutions like yours would have while implementing NEP?
I would like to take this question.
Yes,
so that we can start quickly. Actually, first of all, we extend our thanks to pick such an important subject for this panel discussion, because NEP 2020 is a real dream which is required to come into the reality. And actually it is the extension of a very old concept of Mahatma Gandhiji, which is called it as a Nayi Talim. He mentioned in Nayi Talim that knowledge and work cannot be different. It can be together, or it should be together. And as far as the challenges of NEP is concerned, all great personalities from educational world are here. The first and foremost challenge to implement NEP is the scale of education and the diversity. Now, recently we got the update that only if we see the higher education, we have 40,000 colleges, 1,000 universities, 10,000 standalone institutes, and 4 crore students. Now, this picture on one side, and on the other side, still in 2023, our GDP for education has not increased beyond 4%. Ideally, it should be 6% or more. Second important point is the calibration. The biggest challenge to implement NEP, like we always give the example, like earlier after BSc or MSc, there used to be a B.Ed and D.Ed course. But as far as the NEP implementation is concerned, for all administrators, vice chancellors, directors, leaders, there should be a calibrated program either of leadership development or implementation. And once this calibrated program is run across India, then first the leadership will be in the position to implement NEP so that they can implement top-bottom approach and then bottom-up approach. Then you can start expecting from faculty, students. So these are few important points. And then definitely the point will come, which is called it as a capacity building. To build the capacity of students, but it will not be built unless and until the capacity of faculty will be built. It will not be built unless and until the capacity of management will be built. And it will only get built when there will be a sync between government, industry, academia, and then only a proper implementation of NEP can take place. So these are my few starting points for this.
Right, okay. So you're mainly emphasizing on the capacity building aspect of it, which includes folks at all levels, from all different functions, from the teaching, the non-teaching, from the management to the back office, right? All of them put together, and then which includes the students as well. So that would have been my next question in terms of how is the readiness in terms of all the major educational institutions to actually build the awareness around NEP in the first place, and then go to probably look at having them trained for various different aspects that are needed in the national education policy. Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, I look at it as a completely positive step. I am a very strong supporter of NEP, and I think NEP is the best thing which has happened to higher education in India. Whatever happened to IT industry in 90s is happening through NEP, through education right now. So we should welcome it. We should go ahead with it. It will take time. I divide the education sector into broader areas. One is central and state public universities, and another is central and state private universities. So I think, which is deemed universities, state private universities, etc., etc. My personal opinion is, and with experience I am saying this, that central public and state public universities at present are far away from implementation of NEP. Because the elephant is so big and heavy, it's very difficult to move that elephant, and it takes time. At the same time, deemed universities, state private universities have already done a lot of work towards implementation of NEP. For example, in MIT Art, Design and Technology University, for 70% programs, we are implementing most of the things in NEP from this coming academic year. So, four important pillars of NEP, which is multidisciplinarity of the education, choice-based credit system, multiple entry exit, then ABC, which is academic bank of credit, internationalization of curriculum. So, most of these things are being implemented. We have revised all our curricula in last 1 year. We have converted all 3-year programs into 4-year programs. We are implementing NEP in that sense from this coming 23-24 academic year. And everyone should look at it with same spirit. I know for public universities it will take time for obvious reasons, but at least wherever possible, low-hanging fruits can be, taken first. And low-hanging fruits are like multidisciplinarity is low-hanging fruit. Of course, for institutes like IITs, it's not possible because they don't have departments, many of these departments. Like in my university, we are Art, Design and Technology University. So we already have schools like drama, film, humanities, Vedic science, IKS. So all these schools are already there. But with those universities wherein all these schools are not there, it is going to take time. But I think that is the best thing which has happened to higher education. We should embrace it. We should aggressively implement it. And that is the best thing for our students. Students are blessed. I would say they are blessed. Current students are blessed. They will get immense benefits out of implementation.
Wonderful.
I not point with that.
Yeah, please.
Just a few seconds. As far as the challenges are concerned, my humble request to the government and all state governments especially, at least for NEP, let us keep politics away. Because, unfortunately, I would not like to take the names of few states without understanding the grace, the gravity, and the glory of NEP. They are simply rejecting to implement NEP. This is an unfortunate thing. After we are talking about 75 years of independence, and if the developed states like XYZ are denying for just the sake of denying, how we can talk about? That's where the leadership training comes into the picture. That's where the vision comes into the picture. So I think that is one of the most bigger challenges of implementing NEP.
Well, to add to this, rightly pointed out, sir, because while the central government can come out with a policy, education being a state subject, the implementation rests with the state government. So they have a different way of looking at things. But as rightly pointed out, they should not have the right to play with the future of the next generation, future of the country as a whole, which I think will settle in soon. And with educators like you at the forefront, I'm sure there is light at the end of the tunnel.
So may I add?
Please, yes, madam.
I was just during the break thinking about. Of course, we have a lot of experience on this panel, which is talking from several years of experience and where this entire thing is headed. So I went to ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT what are the challenges of implementing NEP. And I think that is the difference, which is from a competing mindset, which we begin with at times. As any school, I mean, mine is a business school, so we are ready to compete.
Right.
But this NEP really requires a collaborative mindset. And currently, if you look at where businesses are going or where organizations are going and people are going, it's actually an existing theme which I think the government has articulated in the form of NEP. So today, businesses which don't do good and only want to make good are not going to be sustainable organizations.
True.
So on and so forth. So the NEP is an articulation, according to me, from what is required is just being stated.
Yes.
And therefore, while we may find challenges, it's really about taking it up as an opportunity. Like if you ask 2 years back, how many of us would have embraced technology? So today I was looking at some of my panelists here, and most of them have notes on their phone.
Absolutely.
And that's changed. I mean, if we had asked people, do you think online education was even possible? 5%, 10%? We would have said, no, that's going to take us at least another 2 generations. It took us 2 years. So going back to Newton, created enough external force for that state of inertia to shift.
Yes.
And I think you need that external push to say that this has to happen. And I think each of us will innovate and find ways. And nothing to say that it is going to be a rosy journey. It will not be. But I think that's the whole story.
Oh yeah. So in fact, I wanted to continue asking where Dr. Anant left of an unfair advantage that his university has of the ADT being together. You see, not everyone would enjoy that diversity in terms of the offering of the education options and the educational streams. Right. So, was it easy for you just because you have all of it under one umbrella?
In fact, we, without calling it as NEP, we started implementing NEP from 2017.
Look at that. Okay.
So we have a separate school, rather 2 schools. One school's name is School of Holistic Development.
Right.
That school doesn't have direct students, but the entire school serves for all 11,000 students which we have. Now that school offers courses on body, mind and physics. So there are courses on yoga, there are courses on sports, there are courses on English communication, there are courses on entrepreneurship, there are courses on foreign language. These are offered by School of Holistic Development. This school we established in 2017 and we started offering these courses as non-credited courses. Now the only change which we have done is we have converted them into credited courses. There is another school which we have on the campus which is School of Corporate Innovation and Learning. That school talks about personality development, preparation towards interview, portfolio building, professional communication. So they conduct the courses in the form of either course or a workshop.
Industry.
Again, that school doesn't have direct students.
Right.
So these schools cater to various components of NEP from day one. And because we already have 17 schools which belong to fine arts, applied arts, drama, film, journalism, media, design, architecture, bioengineering, marine engineering, then School of Management, food technology and engineering, computer science. So this diverse offering right from day one allowed us to take that chance and go ahead with implementation of NEP without calling it as NEP.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that was, you had a head start and probably you were just aligned.
Sir,
Yes.
The beauty of NEP is basically designed for student-centered. And sir has rightly said that students have the right to choose any course. But institutions like us, which is standalone engineering institutes, very difficult to create the infrastructure. Okay, the biggest challenge. Because if someone asks, we start implementing, and someone asks, I want to do music as a course, I can't afford it. Because affordability only comes when student is ready to pay.
Absolutely.
Okay, because it has to pass to the students. That's one of the challenges. The beauty of NEP for us as engineering institutions or the technical institutions which has come, that it has got an exit policy. If students, sometimes what happens, under the pressure of parents, students takes admission to the engineering and after 1 year or 2 years, I am not interested. Most of the time it happens and I have faced many students with this. So exit policy says that if you exit the course after 1 year, you get a certificate. Then if you exit after 2 years, you get a diploma, then after 3 years, you get a degree like that. That's one beauty where we can start. But still, as Madam rightly said, that it is a collaborative effort. If universities like NEP and we standalone universities collaborate, then for certain courses, either say online, offline, students can go and add on those courses. Right now in engineering, basically, government of Maharashtra has said politics. Government of Maharashtra has started implementing and they have given clear-cut instructions to initially to the autonomous and deemed universities to implement new education policy in engineering. And then slowly it will rip into the affiliated universities also. But definitely it's going to help to the students.
Yes.
And dropout ratio would be less.
Okay. So on one side, India is grappling with the gross enrollment ratio, which is something that I don't know how it is going to get addressed, but that is one of the major focus of NEP, if you all see, right? And then that would lead to what this panel is talking about in terms of capacity building, in terms of that inclusivity, in terms of multidisciplinary approach, in terms of collaboration and all of it. So you are covering everything, in fact. Are we missing out on anything?
One of the areas which I think there needs to be some deliberation for the implementation to be more impactful and effective is at the input level or the metrics
Assessments.
of when you're enrolling students at a higher education level. Like my co-panelists pointed out, there has to be some kind of semblance across institutions, and that's going to be the most difficult piece to put together. So as a higher education institute, when I'm taking in students from an undergraduate school, today my metrics are very simplistic. It's a CGPA of a certain thing, and there's a bunch of courses. So I know if a student has done engineering, what it means and what it entails. Now I'm going to get a student who's holding a bouquet. How do I deal with that?
Right.
And how do I then create a pedagogical style that will be fair to them and impactful as well? Because we are also talking about outcome-based education. So I think the metrics of one thing that changed in the last few years is the impact that the ministries have also been giving to research. At the international level, it's happening, and therefore it's also percolated now into Indian institutions largely. So when you create a metric that gets counted, people will find ways of addressing it. So if we can create certain metrics, like in the previous discussions, for faculty to become more innovative, for institutions to have autonomy also in the way they, take in students, and not make it really mandatory to, follow through on a certain diktat. Then I think there would be a little more, you can say, fluidity to the entire process, and the success rate would increase.
One point which I would like to quickly quote is success of NEP at higher education mainly depends on implementation of NEP at school level. That is most important point. I don't know whether in this audience are there some school headmasters or these are invited. I don't know. But if yes, actually because you cannot do only the packaging. Some are there.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, great. So you cannot do only the packaging. Okay, because all the skills which need to be enhanced in NEP, what NEP expected, higher order skills must be enhanced. It includes critical thinking, it includes problem solving, and that motivation will only come at somewhere around class 9, 10, 11, 12, because research has shown that our imagination or creativity is highest at the age of 6, 7.
Absolutely.
And when you come at college level, it remains only 20%.
Yeah. So,
which actually kill it. So all these points are really to be implemented in NEP. And NEP, if we see all 27 points of NEP is catering all of that.
Yes.
Only thing, our positive attitude is important.
yes. So that you prompted me to say something that I didn't want to. But that's something I use it very So before that, it's like what you just mentioned, right? I was born intelligent, education spoiled, right? I hope that's not the case, and I know a few of the folks in the audience would connect with this because I've been talking about it. And NEP, if you're in doubt, get back to basics, and if we can start it at the ECCE level, the pre-primary level, right? That's where I think the impact will be the best, and that is what will open up their minds, open up the complete way in which education needs to be imparted, right? Which is holistic in nature, which builds all these cognitive thinking abilities beyond what would get built, because what you're referring is the 80% of my brain development happens within the age of 6 to 7. Right, which is maybe an exaggeration, even if I give it a 10-20% discount to it. It's more than 50%. More than 50% of my brain, if it is developed at that age, then after that it is degradation. Right, so, no, thankfully you pointed that out, and I'm certain you're all working towards it. Sir, your thoughts on
looking at NEP in totality, that is from the primary level till the PG and research level. It's a wonderful concept, primarily also because skills have been added into academic education.
Absolutely, yes.
Skills are something which traditionally in India we tend to at times overlook the fact that thousands of years back, architects in south of India, they knew Pythagoras theorem in a different form, and it's existing as a shloka.
Yes.
And we give credit for that to the Westerners.
So if you can hold it, yeah, please.
We give credit of that to the Westerners. Apart from that, another fact which is very prominent is that Sun is the center of our universe. That was known to our ancestors thousands of years back.
Yeah.
And the modern scientific world gives credit to some other person.
Yeah.
So these are certain things. And that let's move forward, fast forward to about 200 years back, 1835. Lord Macaulay, he carried out a survey in India relating to the literacy level of Indians. And the findings were that 97% of South India, the children were found to be literate. And 95% in the north of India. So, over a period of time, they realized that if they continue with this kind of a awareness and knowledge level, then they would not be suitable to be ruled. So, in that context, within a very short span of time, the Britishers introduced the English system of education into India, which made Indians aspire for clerical jobs with the British. And most of the Indians got into that English schooling system, and the entire treasure house of our own learning was slowly sidelined, and the destruction of places like Nalanda and Takshashila was one of the greatest blow to civilizational learning across the world. Now coming back to the NEP, if the whole thing from school level till PG and research level is synchronized and integrated so as to give the maximum benefits which it has to offer. Like for example, certain skills like carpentry or two-wheeler repairs, this, that and all, formal education, it hardly exists in that. It is by virtue of that chotu little helper there who is working in a garage and then he picks up. And after about 5-6 years, he's an expert in that field. So there's no formal training in that, but it's a huge sector. Considering the mobility in India, number of two-wheelers, four-wheelers and all, this has not come into the formal sector to that extent. Because if at all it has come into the formal sector, those who come to the formal sector are hesitant to
get their hands dirty. Yes.
That's my view on that.
You touched upon the skills part of it. Which is not just limited to the cognitive skills, but even the physical and the mechanical skills that are needed. So, National Education Policy has this provision of having the skills exposure from the 6th grade onwards.
Basically, myths or misunderstood as the word skill.
Yes.
Yeah, skills means ITM. So that's kind of
the mindset.
We had. So that's why the many skills universities did not do well.
Okay.
Because that's the mindset.
That's a point. Yeah.
That myth has to be removed basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it has to be holistic development. Someone has given in the morning that an engineer cannot repair a fan. That's true. Basically, that's true.
Yeah.
He can code it.
Yeah, he can probably design a fan, but not repair a fan.
So these are the basically little things.
True.
Because NEP basically focuses on hands-on at all levels.
Yes. So you actually led the question to Mr. Anant as to what is LinkedIn doing in addressing all of this, because that's the best platform we have for skills, right? I've been using it really very effectively, collecting certificates over certificates, right? So it's a wonderful platform, and let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
Absolutely, thank you so much. It resonates so well when all of you are talking in terms of how NEP is changing. But I'm of a believer that NEP is a slow process, and I believe that by 2030, 2040 is when we'll have a best-in-class education system, and that's what everyone will be looking forward to. So it is not an overnight change, it's a slow change. I'm getting to the point how LinkedIn is helping, but I really want to make a point in terms of how evident is the thread of technology which is running through this entire NEP. Which means that with technology cannot be kept separated through this entire process. And when I say technology, there are so many things involved in it. I representing LinkedIn, probably it will just be a small mole in the entire mountain of technology which we are talking about today. But coming to the point of LinkedIn, so LinkedIn believes in one thing is how can we make skills and content more democratic in nature, which means skills are not something which are meant for few. The objective of NEP is also such that how can we make learning equitable to every socio-economic strata of learners. And this is where LinkedIn is trying to engage, because coming and creating a profile on LinkedIn absolutely costs nothing. Correct. Right. But we are in a stage wherein that level is also not happening. So that's, hence I said that it's a slow process, and we will reach there. We are trying our level best to go to colleges, and not just urban areas, rural areas, semi-urban areas. Because the objective here is, I believe, for technology, it's the basic to basic thing is creating a LinkedIn profile, for a student level, and that's when your journey starts. And that's where you showcase your skill, because today, along with the corporate world, it's also along with the academic world, the corporate world is using LinkedIn very aggressively. Because the objective of NEP is, other than employability, it also talks about interdisciplinary actions, internationalization. And there are few things which resonates well with me from a corporate world is most of the corporates today are talking about diversity, inclusion, belonging. This is the key word in every corporate today, which means every interview they'll be asked questions related to this. And if you're fumbling, you're not meant for the culture of our organization, because this is what we believe in. So hence what LinkedIn has been trying to do is LinkedIn is trying to incorporate this concept into our products, which means like if you take our products and if you try to do a search in it, which is a gender-based search, you cannot do. Because we believe that discrimination should not be there.
Wow, okay.
So this is what LinkedIn is doing. I mean, there are multiple things, but I'll keep it to this line.
Of course. No, thank you so much for... Yes, please.
Quickly came to my mind, as far as the NEP is concerned, we all talked about government, we talked about organizations, we talked about faculty. But in India, unfortunately, still, when the NEP is into fragmentation stage, industry has to play a major role. He was talking about LinkedIn and he was talking about how to get a good job. For effective implementation of NEP, we as a panel suggest that for every institution, there must be a panel of minimum 6 industry experts linked. Not only for creating it, but for creating credits, for defining credits, for creating value-add course, creating future skills. And all these 6 representatives must be from 6 different domains. Because we, as a training and placement officer, we witness almost 70-80 industries coming to the campus, but its awareness level is very, very low. And that is something which is very good.
No, true. There is always this disconnect between the institutes and the industry. The industry guys are impatient, while the institute guys put the onus on the industry to help the institute. And there is no via media coming in. Probably the way to look at it is a platform like LinkedIn, which is like an open platform, which opens up multiple possibilities for you to connect with anyone, and then become those passionate folks who would be interested in partnering. Of course, there's a heavy lift there, but at least we have a way of reaching out and creating that visibility. Right, so I've experienced it myself. You create the right visibility, you create the right noise, you write the right trend, and people will come and search for you. Right, so absolutely. So we have the policy in place. You spoke about the people. Now we have the platform.
So one aspect that I'd like to highlight here is the MSME segment, which is which includes about 110 million people.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay.
That's a big job.
A large section of them are really not part of any academia industry collaboration.
Complete unorganized.
And also, they are not the dream organizations that students studying in across universities. Everybody is aiming for a Google or a Ant's job maybe, or a LinkedIn.
Or LinkedIn, yes.
But this is a segment that is recruiting or that is going to need a lot of people with innovative capabilities. Something I looked up was in 2030, when we are talking about a young nation, in 2030, 2031, there will be a growth of 41% of senior citizens in India.
Yes.
Let alone the world, where it's already booming.
Yes.
So when you have a policy like this in place, you're able to marry 2-3 schools of thought, whether it's in healthcare, whether it married to business management, married to innovation, and creating some kind of technology with the help of MSMEs. So I think it is important for us to also know that if this, let's imagine that we have implemented it, and let us see what could be the possible outcomes that can come of it, and then create delegations and platforms like my co-panelist also suggested.
Thank you so much.
One very important point,
Yeah, last one.
as we are discussing about challenges while implementing NEP. In Maharashtra, fortunately, a good committee was formed. Mashelkar sir committee was formed, and there is a very good comprehensive report, Mashelkar committee report, which was approved by state government. And in that report itself, they have identified all the challenges. And they have they are talking about the low-hanging fruits, from where you should start. What are the challenges with public university? What are the challenges with private university? What are the challenges with vocational institute? What are the challenges with existing polytechnics? So it's a very good document which can be referred when one is talking about challenges while implementing NEP. Just one more point and I'll stop. My dream of NEP is admission to nothing and degree in nothing. So if we are able to achieve admission to nothing, degree in nothing, so I am able to join any program. It's a menu card system. I go to hotel, I pick the things, I pay for that. I don't want any of your stream. I don't want me to be called as engineer, management professional, doctor. So admission to nothing and degree in nothing. If that happens, that's the real implementation of it.
Oh, wonderful, sir. So that reminds me of a dialogue from Three Idiots. Right? सीखने के लिए क्या चाहिए? Uniform चाहिए बस. Right? Yeah. So thank you so much. This was so enlightening, and I'm certain all of you agree with this. Thought that NEP is here to change the future course of India and the next generation. And we don't have a choice. We are already behind. So it is high time we buckle up, high time we partner, high time we collaborate, and that's the way forward. Yeah. So I would take this opportunity to thank each one of you on this panel to bring about various different aspects, right, from collaboration to skills, to the multidisciplinary approach, and probably bringing in the policy and how everyone can work together. Right. So thank you so much. I request Sangamitra Mohanty Madam to felicitate the panelists.
One surprise from this presentation, ACOPS. the founder of ACOPS is the alumnus of Army Institute of Technology, that is AIT. And he passed out in 2003. His name is Jitendra Yadav, and he was ex-president of our alumni association also. So I was very happy to see his achievements. So thanks ACOPS team also for the wonderful presentation. Thank you.